All right, so this is now the back of the fence. We're kind of, if we look at the long view here, we got the house and the back of the fence and a big blackbird that is eating the bread and stuff that we send out on every day to feed them, and they come and eat all the old cookies and breads that we don't eat. Okay, now the back row's got a whole line of stuff. Now here you can see in this first one is the icebox watermelon. So those little bowling ball, or smaller than a bowling ball size watermelon. We're going to let this thing vine out and then trellis along the bottom of the mulch area, and hopefully we get some watermelon. And then we have here the eggplants. There's two eggplants here. They are the thin variety. So basically it's like the Japanese eggplant, and this one here is kind of a baby patio eggplant. One of the things that grows easier is it's difficult to grow those big giant size eggplants. It requires a lot of resources. So when we grow the thin Japanese eggplants, they're thinner, they're smaller, and they have less seeds. So if you don't like the seeds in an eggplant, then you grow them because they grow easier and they're easier to grow and eat. And then we got 4 or 3 pepper plants here. Again, we have like the banana peppers that we're growing. They look pretty good. Then we have another eggplant, and this variety is like a light purple and white spotted Japanese eggplant. Then as we see here, there's one more little watermelon variety that's going to hopefully take up the other half of this mulch area. And then these 3 pepper plants here that look to have like these big stems, these are last year's ghost peppers. And so what we did is we cut them all back in the winter time, put them in the garage, and every once in a while just watered it. Then we brought it back out and it came back to life. You can see this one's a little slower in coming out with the shoots and leaves, but it's still alive. You can see it's green and it's got a really big stalk. This will take up this whole area. Now these two have started a little bit faster. A little bit thinner stalk probably has it come up, but they're filling out with leaves. So if anybody wants really hot ghost peppers, basically they dry really well, and if you want to make chili and stuff, you'll have the hottest peppers in the world. And then you can see here we got a couple more, like the banana peppers, the jalapenos, then another eggplant, and a marigold. Now one of the things that you'll notice here in the garden, for the border area, we've got these what looks like green and blue and orange borders. So you can go to Home Depot and buy bricks or siding and stuff like that, but you pay a lot more money. These are basically the pool noodles. If you go to the dollar store, they're like $1 a piece or less. You can buy a whole box. They're 3 feet long, and you can make your whole border here. You probably get one season out of this, because in Texas the heat, by the end of it with 100 degrees, well, basically they'll start to disintegrate. But what the heck, for less than $1, you can do the whole backyard. As you can see here, that's what we use for our border, cheaper than the brick. And then all we do is stake these. Now the stakes we can use again because they are rust-proof stakes that you buy a pack of 100 off of Amazon. You stake them in and you're off and good to go. Now as we come down here, there's some decorative bushes and plants, but this here is our pomegranate tree. It's more of a pomegranate bush. We've been having trouble actually growing pomegranates. I don't know what it requires. It gets a lot of green, it gets flowers, but it doesn't really produce the pomegranates by the end of the year. So this is still an experiment. We've cut it back to make it more bush-like than tree-like. We fertilize it. We'll see what happens. It's kind of something that we're testing. As we go through here, we got some of the bigger plants. So this here is a blueberry plant. So blueberries require a cooler temperature. So Texas can't really grow blueberries effectively. However, on Stark Brothers, we bought ones that are heat tolerant for zone 8. We are basically zone 8A, sometimes 7B, depends on what website you look at, but about 8A, these are tolerant. So this one survived from last year. It's a blueberry, and then this guy over here, he's small, he's a blueberry. What happened to the other 2 blueberry plants is that they seem to get like a mold or a brown spot leaf thing, and they basically just died and had to cut them back. But these guys survived. I might have to spray this with like an antifungal or something probably to keep them going, but we'll see what they do for blueberries. I got another mosquito plant, and then right next to it here is a container raspberry. It's a new plant. They call it a brazzleberry. We'll see what it produces, but it's creating the stalks and everything. So far so good. We got that there. Then as we come down here, I have those elephant ear plants. Last year we had our elephant ears. They grew huge, 5 to 6 foot leaves in a very tiny container. This year we bought some new ones. We got an elephant ear. There's different varieties and shapes, and that's what these two are. They'll get bigger over the year. This one is from last year. I think we're waiting for the heat to like get a little bit hotter, and then it should start to produce stuff off of the stem there, and we'll see how that works. But then we have another cantaloupe, and we'll have that trellis on the back fence here as well. So this is the back fence for what we have in the garden area, and you can see the long view of the back fence.